Hello, everybody, and welcome to myself, Alternative Interactions. I'm Gary, and
I'm Izabela from Tarot by Izabela.
today you join us, and we are going to be looking at a follow-on from one of the predictions that Isabella has certainly done recently, a couple of times, I think now, and certainly something I've spoken about. And both Isabella and myself have seen the governments of the world, not just one or two, all of the governments in the world collapsing and falling. Okay. Now, that in itself is a huge, huge event. But I wonder what is going to happen when that happens and how will this play out almost is I'm wondering, I've got to wonder. And I'm sure you wonder the same thing, Isabella.
Yeah, yes, of course. It's one of the big question marks.
So today we're going to look at that question mark, and I prepared a couple of questions for Isabella that will hopefully um, give us some answers. And it's not the only show. If we get something out of this that we need to deep dive on, we certainly will be doing that in the future. So without enough waffling going on as I just did, shall we start with the first question, Isabella?
Yes, we can. Mhm.
So my first question is a general question to start us off with. What do you see happening once the governments fall? And by this, I'm kind of thinking EBS lockdown type scenarios. But obviously, I don't know what the crystal ball or the card's going to tell you. But that's my kind of thinking on this question. So do your
Okay.
thing,
Yeah,
please.
and we are talking not about only about one government. We talk about all governments
All
around the
governments.
planet, not just Western world. Everyone.
Yes.
Okay, just give me a few seconds. I have to concentrate, and we'll see if I find something. What will happen when the government? Let's see if I'm gonna find something here. Hmm? Um, the first thing I saw was the people like totally lost. Like, what now? Because the majority of the people on this planet or realm or whatever, they are so used to be governed. There have always been president, a king, a queen, uh, an elder, whatever, someone who has been telling them how to behave, what to do, what is right, what is wrong. And when that is gone, because it will be gone, people will be feeling like totally lost. And we, as real humans, because there are humans and not real humans, and the real humans, we have in our heart, in our spirit, in our soul, the book of rules already. What is right and what is wrong. Doing no harm is one of them. Treat others as the way you would like to be treated is the other one. And that is really all what is needed. But most of the people don't have that. So for a short period of time, it could be on the brink to anarchy everywhere. Because, oh, now we don't have any government, we don't have any police, now we can rob, we can steal, we can kill, we can do whatever we want. That energy of now we can do whatever we want will not be far lived. Because if that were allowed, then, well, it would not be so much life left on this planet. What I see is from nowhere there will not appear. Appear is appear, but appear soldiers in the same uniform, looking almost, having almost the same features in their face. And it's like, beam of light, and suddenly they are there. It doesn't have to be a beam of light, it's symbolical. But suddenly they are like company. What do you call a big group of soldiers?
Yeah, a company. Yeah, a
Company,
company. Yeah. So you get a company
like a
or
battalion.
yeah, battalion. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Stash here and there in every city, in every village, there will be suddenly, and they are armed, and they are fully equipped like a soldier, with helmets and you know boots and everything. And I don't see them talking. They're quiet. Maybe they are nudging their heads. If some kind of conversation must be done, or some order from those soldiers, it will be through another person, like a spokesperson, because they will not talk. They will just like stand, defend, or whatever they have to do. Just their appearance will prevent a lot of people from committing crime, just by standing there. So they don't really have to, arrest anyone, shoot anyone, or do anything, and nobody would dare to do anything. The next vision I get, they are not here from this planet. They are coming from somewhere else. Since they look like each other, they look almost the same. Maybe some little feature, maybe someone has darker hair, someone has lighter, but almost the same statue, same length, the same bone structure. And they are not small soldiers. They are like very tall. If I can describe it, if you look up in the sky, it will be like a hole in the sky. For example, if you have a cloud, but it's not a cloud, it's a hole. And from that hole, they will come down. And that hole could also represent a sort of spacecraft in disguise, something, but they will come up from above. And I don't see them as being evil in any kind. They are here to keep order, to prevent the planet go into chaos. Because every country's, if you have like a president building or yeah, presidential residence, they're all empty everywhere. It's echo. You say hello, hello, and you're hello, hello. Nobody's there. And I see those troops standing outside. Um, and those empty chairs of ex-rulers, there will be like committee something. It's not like one is ruling. No, there will be like a group of people together um, taking that place. So it not be like a multi-party. It's one party, but it consists of many people with the same powers or whatever. That will take place in every country. So, but I don't see them as terrestrial beings.
Yeah.
I don't see them from here. And I see them like, no, no, it's time to do this, this, and this for this area. And every group of people are educated in that country's specific culture or geographics or what can be done and what not can be done. So they will take over for a period of time. I'm not talking about a takeover forever. It's for a period of time um, until, yeah, the big war is totally over. Yeah.
Very well put.
I'm gonna take some more cards. I'm gonna take some cards on this. And if you have any question following up to what I have seen, please don't hesitate to interrupt or to ask them.
I will. I'll let you do pull your cards first, and then I've got a couple of little questions I want to talk about, and something I've seen previously, which I think is similar to something you've seen. So that'd be quite interesting.
But it was interesting to see them. They look alike. They look very friendly, but like no emotions. They cannot be touched by someone screaming or bribing. They're just like, or maybe not even nodding their heads. Just okay. What will happen after the government's fall? And we're gonna take some dice on this. Okay. Yeah. The first one are two persons on the dice with a question mark between them. We don't know who they are. Who are they? Who are they? So they're not from here. And then we have an egg. Something new gonna be cracked. Something new is gonna come out from this. And what is this? Okay, and this is burglar. So they will come like a burglar at night when we at least expect it and change. Again, we have the fool, and when we at least expect they will come. We cannot, something new, totally new, unexpected is coming. Why are they coming? They're coming to bring justice, to balance up things. And there we have, they're coming from far away. This is Six of Swords. And Six of Swords is a long journey or from very far away. Here on the Oracle cards, let's see what we got here. We have intuition, misfortune, and sight.
Can't
Well,
quite see it.
I can never learn to pronounce this. You
Is
reap
it a
what you sow.
scythe?
Sight, sight. Yep. Um, they have to come. If they don't come, it will bring misfortune to the whole planet. They are very intuitive beings, so they are spiritual beings, but still have like flesh. And reap what you sow. So mm, they are taking away what is not good here.
That's really good, isn't it? That's really.
Mm,
My second question was actually about a clone army, believe it or not, and and from previous conversations and previous seeings and bits and pieces, it was like we were going to have a clone army coming in who were unbribable.
yeah.
You know, it didn't matter how much money you had, what you promised these people, it made no difference. And the way you just described it was just like, they're there, you know.
Mm,
Now, I had a vision a month or two back, couple of months probably, and when I was just pre-show telling Isabella, you had very similar thing to me, didn't you?
yeah. But that
Now,
was a couple of years ago. Yeah.
yeah, a couple of years ago
Yeah.
for Isabella. So what I saw was in the local hospital where I am, in Norwich, UK. I was shown the accident and emergency entrance, and in front of that was two soldiers wearing what to me were RAF, Royal Air Force uniforms with guns. So the gun was crossed. They're holding it,
Mm,
finger off the trigger, but they're standing there and smartly, pristine. They're standing there by the door, and I'm looking at these two soldiers, and then it struck me. This energy came from them that they weren't English, they weren't Irish, Scottish, or Welsh. They were not of the British. They weren't from here, But they, white skin, but they were not from here. And I was thinking, where are they from? Because their energy doesn't feel the same as I'd expect from one of our kind of troops. And then I realised that they were there to protect those inside the hospital, not necessarily the patients, but the doctors and nurses. And my conclusion from that was that this kind of thing may well have come out at that point, and it was all part of what was going on. Now, it's very interesting that you said that those troops would not speak. They would engage as in, but it would not be, and there would be a spokesman or a
yeah.
like a sergeant or somebody who would do the talking. That's really interesting because I hadn't ever seen that before. So that's fascinating. Now, you said that there'd be a committee of people or beings that took over each government because they're obviously going to be empty. Now, my assumption is there's going to be arrests and such like. But before we go there, Isabella, I'm sure everybody is really, really interested at the moment in Europe, particularly, but it's happening in America. We have illegal immigration and people a from a different place that have come here via that immigration via the dumb elites. I wonder if you could look into that for everyone and see what their role or non-role is at this particular point in time when we get um, this help from our higher selves in an army form. Would you be able to do that, please?
Yeah. What those
Illegal,
illegals,
yeah,
what they their role is.
Yes. Or,
They have something to do with that army.
yes. Or that army will have something to do with them.
They're gonna take them out. That fell out. And 9 of wands. So it's like they're already looking at it. Making a note, you know. But let's take some more cards. What are the role of those many? Again, the death card. So they are not here to stay. Here we have their role. I don't see their role really. They are under surveillance. They thought they're gonna get away with it, to party and wow, we done it. But no way. They will disappear. They are not there to stay. And those who are looking at them, they are very wise and they know what to do. They have received a lot of money to come. And they have had fun for a period of time. But no, they will not stay. It's not the same. Those illegals are not the same as the army that is coming. They're totally different. It's like the army that is coming are there to replace all armies.
Yes.
And no mercenaries or strange illegal militia. No, nothing like that.
So that leads me to another very kind of quick question. At the point in which we get this external army come down, will that be the end of all wars? Because I know certain areas have got issues and certain countries are causing issues around the world. So is this the end of all the shenanigans?
I have to look here about this army that is coming. Okay. Well, the first thing I saw white flags all over the planet. Anyone who tried to raise a weapon against them, the weapon will just fall apart like dust. You cannot use it anymore. It doesn't matter if it's a knife, a rifle, a missile, or a nuclear bomb. Everything will just fall apart. And it's all about frequency machines in a large scale. And I don't see that army that is coming firing any shot or killing anyone or no. It's more like they are neutralizing threats, neutralizing weapons of all kind. And those who want war, they will have to wave with a white flag because there will not be any other option for them.
That's very, very good news for an awful lot of people. And I am fully aware of the fear mongering that's going on at the moment within
Yeah,
certain European countries against the country R.
yeah.
And, you know, this is all going to stop. You know, Isabella's been very clear on this, that when this group, this army comes down, it finishes.
It's enough is enough. Stop it.
Yeah. Because
Um,
the people don't want war or conflicts. None of us want that. You know, you laid out at the beginning of the show, you know, treat others as you want to be treated, and show respect and love to everybody, and everybody has that in them, or should have
if
that
they
in
are
them.
real humans,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
another topic.
Yeah, another big one. So you saw this committee. Now, this committee, the way I see it, is this committee who will come in onto every single country,
Yes.
whether it's Poland, Canada, Holland, England, Switzerland,
Everyone would have
Sweden.
their
Yeah,
committee. Yeah.
yeah. This committee, does that come from the craft as well? Let's just confirm this. I know it does, but can you just confirm that this committee comes from the craft that are going to be, you know,
Yeah.
where the the army comes from?
I saw them like light beings with human skin.
Yes.
Mm,
Yeah, that's the way I see it as well.
yeah. But let's take 3 cards on that. So there will not be any presidents, any prime ministers, nobody.
They always said Donald Trump would be the last American president. Remember that, everybody.
For a reason. Doesn't mean he will be taken out or something. No.
No.
It will be replaced by this committee.
Yes.
Where are this committee from? Oh, I'm gonna show it to you soon. Oh, they're coming from the heart. So it's a soul, because here is heart, a desire for, and they are a gift to humanity. Why? Because we have the courthouse here to bring order, to bring justice. They will work for that. They don't want any money. They do it for free. They are not money hungry. They're not doing this for gaining something. No, they will keep a very low profile. People will probably don't know who they are. And they will work together. Everyone will have their task. And they are a gift to humanity. Exactly where they come from, it doesn't tell. But if they are spiritual beings that work with the heart, then they're not from here. And they feel the people's pain. This is 5 of Cups. They feel the pain and they want to take away the pain. And here we have the Empress. So, yeah, I
Creational
think,
energy.
yeah, creational energy. It could even be a mix between beings from inner Earth and outer space in this committee. So they are mixing both spiritual beings, very enlightened, light beings that exist deep down, and light beings from above, because cooperation. Those on the ground, they know more what's happening on the ground, and those above are not bribable because they see the bigger picture.
Yeah. 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 And that is in the short term, that's really good news because we're going to get the end of wars, capitulation, the end of all of these bad actors causing all these problems. We're going to have higher vibrational frequency beings coming in here to look after us so that we can get a level playing field and a footing, because it's quite clear to me, and we don't really need to pull the cards on this, that this is going to be also the clear up of the bad actors and the dumb elites, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They are not
But
allowed to continue anymore.
yeah, yeah.
And
So
if this is a courthouse, they will be judged according to their actions, not according to how much you have in your pocket or which connections you got,
yeah,
according to your actions. And that means not so many will like continue to exist.
yeah, because this, as Isabella just pointed out very, very clearly, the government and the judges are currently in lockstep. They're connected. And so when we lose the government, we're also going to be losing the police, the courts, and everything else that the system has produced, you know. Um, so I guess a very, very quick question off that, because I think there's a lot more we can go into in depth here, and we could go on for hours on this one, and I think we need to take a step back and think about this. So, as a last question, okay, because on our recent celestial trine show with Meten of plutonic planes, we looked at some dates, and those dates went up to the 4th of July. I know, and you know, Isabella, the audience may not, that we have more dates after the 4th of July of interest that we are going to be looking at in the future. But are we looking at, and I know it's very difficult with time, it's horrendous, but because we've looked at these dates astrologically and we kind of got markers in the sand, and I'm going to take the 4th of July as a marker. Do you get an indication that this is going to happen before the 4th of July, please?
Okay. Now I need this one. Will this takeover happen? The government's falling, everything
Yeah,
before? I
before
cannot.
the.
Well, you know how crystal balls and
I know how they
predictions are with
work.
dates. What I saw here, I saw a black hole or a days of darkness. And days of darkness, that doesn't have to mean that the sun gonna disappear and we're gonna get totally dark. It could be days without communication, days without electricity, days without television or the internet working. And that certainly will um, be a lot of darkness. And recently we have noticed in almost every country that are dependent on internet and electricity, we have problems
Yeah.
more and more with the internet, with the banks, with here and with there. So it's like preparing for that, for those days of darkness. Um, they don't really want to tell
It's a
that the
cheeky
takeover,
question.
yeah, but some kind of darkness will happen uh, before the 4th of July. And just gonna take 3 cards to see if the cards want to say in more detail what it could be. Because here I just saw a black hole.
Yeah, I understand how the cards work, and I understand that they don't like giving timescales, particularly on something like this. And Isabella has already said that it's just going to come out of nowhere and suddenly bang, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But you
One
don't
can always
ask.
try.
Yeah, you don't ask, you don't get.
If you don't ask, you will not get any answers. Hmm. On the tarot cards, we have Ace of Wands, Four of Swords, Five of Swords. Here we have a movie camera, when you're old-time movie camera. And here we have watching. And on the oracle cards, we have a four-leaf clover. So whatever is happening will be good news for most of us. And it will be recorded. Everyone will know. Could be some kind of EBS also. Since film recording, and it will make people watch it because it's watching. And it would be for good luck, something good. But still, whatever will come out before 4th of July will still make people ill, and we're very worried. Because imagine if the truth is beginning to be shown everywhere, and the truth is extremely ugly and horrific and cruel, what we have been used for and what has been done towards us. In a way, it's a very good news because finally the truth comes out. So something before the 4th of July that has to do with truth, like an
Well,
EBS
yeah,
or something like that.
yeah. And I think that's as good as we're going to get time-wise currently with what's gone on. But it sounds to me like certain people are going to have a bitter pill to swallow
Yeah,
when the truth, the sword cuts through the truth and they start to see what's really going on. So,
yeah,
and that ties in nicely with the show that we did, doesn't it? You know,
yep,
um, I haven't really got any more questions I want to ask because if I did, I think we'd be here another hour. So
yep,
um, perhaps we need to come back again and do a little bit of a deeper dive. Perhaps from this, I'm sure in the comments section there'll be loads of questions that come from this, and maybe we can take some of those questions from the comments or things that you and I think about after we watch this show back, and to deep dive into some of the other issues. But what's really, really good, everyone, is the immigration issue, and these issues are going to be resolved, and we have nothing to fear about that coming forward. And that's really positive news, isn't it, Isabella?
yeah. I would, as final words, I want to take some cards because this, I think, will be on the mind of many, many. What if this new committees or new governments, what if it's only a mask? What if they are playing good but really want to take over and we're gonna be like slaves to some ETs or non-terrestrial, yeah, beings?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's good.
Because that's quite normal, fear or question to ask. Okay, now we're gonna be exchanged for something even worse with a better technology, and now we are really effed.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So the new rulers, we can call them rules, for a period of time, not for a long time. Will they be evil or will they be good? And should we be afraid? No, we should never be afraid. But
No,
but
wary
anyway,
of them. Yeah.
yeah, not trust them. And that will be the last like reading. We don't have to be afraid. Here we have 10 of coins. So there will be a total change in financials. Everyone will be wealthy. Cannot say rich, but wealthy. A lot of old, we have the high priestess. A lot of old knowledge will be allowed to emerge. And here we have 5 of cups. That means also sorrow. But above the 5 of cups, we have the fox, and we have binocular. If you want to look something from
Yeah, telescope. Yeah.
yeah. Those who will feel sorrow, who will not like this, are the foxes. Those who want to cheat, those who doesn't want to play fair, clean. But they know who they are because they are looked at. At the beginning, people will have gloomy thoughts because they will be afraid, of course. And that's why we were prepared by the TV series V. Because those dumb elites, they know everything. They know about this too. So they wanted to put that fear for intervention from other places that is not Earth to us people, put that in our heart. So when that happens, oh, we would be very suspicious because we have been prepared with 2 times the series V.
Yes.
There will be new type of housing for everyone, and under the high priestess we have happy. It will make people happy, so they're not here to make us sad. The foxes will be sad, but the real humans will not. And here we have a pregnant woman with an owl, and it says let go. So we will be finally able to let go of all the traumas, all the old system, poverty, wars. All this will be gone, and we can finally feel happy.
Superb. Superb.
A new beginning. A pregnancy is a new life, a new beginning.
Yeah. And the owl symbolizes wisdom, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And foresight and
Above.
knowledge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's brilliant. I mean, obviously, we need to also ask at some point how long these people will be here and how we will transition and take back over. But I think that's another show, I
Yep.
do, because so there is obviously some obvious questions that come from this, everyone, but that's really fascinating, Isabella. I mean, wow.
Yeah, it was so cool to see it here, the sky open up and like light plates. And from there comes those committees, come those soldiers that look the same, like clone soldiers. No, cannot bribe them. They are there to obtain justice and order.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So I haven't got anything else to ask because if I did, we'd be here for quite a while.
Yeah.
Anything else for you, Isabella?
No, I think that's all for today. We will have a lot of shows that will come. Some of them related to this topic, but we will develop things deeper.
Yes.
And I think I did not so long time ago a video called "Is the Military the Only Way?" And I think I will attach that down to in the description because it could be related to what we talked about
I think so as
in
well.
this video.
Yeah. 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 I think, I mean, Isabella, you've done such a back catalogue over the years of really interesting videos. And we're all guilty of wanting the latest one. But sometimes when you go back and look at some of the older videos, they really have relevance now, like your ancient ones that you re-released recently. So yeah, is military the only way? That video, I think, is very, very much into this and kind of follows the Q movement the
Oh
way they
yeah,
said.
yeah, yeah. And the Q quote said military is the only way, but they never mentioned which military, from where.
Yeah,
Because there could be many different kinds of military. It doesn't have to be US, UK, whatever. It could be total different kind of military.
yeah, certainly can be. And with that, I think we need to say goodbye and thank you very much, everybody, for watching. And again, when this comes out, Isabella, I think it'll be very close to, if not just touching over the 100,000 subs. So
Yeah.
congratulations on that.
Thank
And
you
and
so much.
and I think you have a little competition going about, isn't it, for three people to get a free reading from you?
Yes. Yes. Oh my God, I got hundreds of emails already. I will have to employ someone to cut papers and put names and email address. Nicknames. Yeah.
So make sure you all like, share, and subscribe to Isabella to get over that magic mark. So then Isabella can do her tombola raffle and pick
Yeah.
out three lucky names, three lucky winners. And with that, everybody, I'm going to say goodbye. And Isabella,
Goodbye, and thank you so much for watching.
bye, everyone.
Bye bye.